Hello students, in today's session we will discuss how to calculate wind pressure on the roof. So you must be thinking that we have already calculated wind pressure and what was that? So here which we calculated PZ which we were talking about in the last few videos, that is totally a wind pressure, but it is at any height, and we now fixing the exact pressure at the roof level on the roof of our truss. So I hope you understood the difference. The pressure which we calculated earlier is the pressure at any particular point or at certain height. We don't know at what height we have calculated, but yes, it is the pressure in the atmosphere up to certain height and level. But now we are focusing and we are doing it specifically for our truss, and in our truss at roof level, what is the pressure that we are calculating here? So see, for estimating, see here I am reading from here. For estimating the wind load on individual structural elements, it is very essential to take into account of pressure difference between opposite face of such elements. What they said, it is very essential to take into account of pressure difference between opposite face of such elements. What does the opposite face means here? So see, you have one industrial shade. In this shade you have one atmosphere outside the industrial shade and one inside it. What is one inside it means? In that truss you have covered large area. It's not small residential flat or small residential bungalow, no, it's a huge space for which you are constructed truss. Within that truss you have within that shade you have, beneath that truss, within that shade for which you have placed truss above. In that shade you have air to pass and wind is coming, and some wind is passing through that, some is get obstructed by it and it is moving away from our structure, moving away or finding other way to get out of it. So this wind is what makes difference in internal and external atmosphere of our structure, and as well as it affects the load calculation, the pressure calculation on the trusses or on the shades, industrial shade. So I hope you understood. Let me make you understand this with the diagram. See here what I am saying. This is your truss or industrial shade. Okay, this truss you are using as a roof. Okay, now what I said, the atmosphere outside and the atmosphere within the shade is different. We said it, or we differentiated it as the external wind pressure and internal wind pressure. Now why we are calculating it separately, and how they make a difference? Because see, if wind is coming from this side, let's suppose this is the wind coming on our structure. This wind strikes our roof. This wind strikes our roof as well as strikes the walls of your structure. Okay, and then it move away or may get inside your truss. Okay, and inside that truss, how it gets inside, there are some openings for ventilation, and from that it may enter into your truss building. And that's how these two forces, one get hit on our external walls of our truss and they don't get a way to get inside it, and one get the ways to get inside our truss. Now let's understand it with the mathematical formulas. It is very essential to take into account of pressure difference opposite faces of such elements, because there is a atmosphere acting outside and some little pressure inside, that has a huge difference within them. Okay, something happening outside is on larger area, whereas one within is on smaller scale, and that has a huge difference, and difference between them we are gonna understand over here. We're gonna take care of that difference. Okay, so here you can see F is equals to CPE minus CPI into C here. F is equals to CPE, C suffix PE. It is external pressure coefficient, and CPE is external pressure coefficient. Okay, then C suffix PI. C suffix PI is internal pressure coefficient. It is internal pressure coefficient. Okay, now this external and internal pressure coefficient has its direction, which I have mentioned in the bracket. See here, external pressure coefficient has direction towards the truss. Okay, whereas internal pressure coefficient is acting away from the truss. Now, what exactly away and towards, if you want to understand that? Before that, what is A? Area, and P into D. P suffix D, actually not into, P suffix D. It is equals to PZ, design wind pressure. It is equals to what? PZ, design wind pressure. So design wind pressure we have already calculated. We have value of it with us. PZ is equals to 0.95 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, now see what is internal wind pressure, how it's acting on truss, and what is external wind pressure coefficient and how it is acting. See, CPE is acting from outside and it is acting towards our truss. It is acting towards the truss, whereas our internal pressure coefficient C suffix PI is acting away from the truss. You may say it is acting towards the truss only, but it is opposite in direction. If I have taken this towards the truss, then this should be away from the truss. Okay, naturally if you see at it, you observe it, it feels like both are acting towards the truss, but yes, one direction if I taking as a towards the truss, then opposite of it has to be away from the truss. Okay, got it? Now next is external wind pressure. Now I am trying to explain how this external wind pressure is calculated and how that has influenced, and what are the factors which are influencing our external wind pressure. So what causes our external wind pressure to be act in that way? Okay, that we trying to understand here. So see, external wind pressure CPE is depends upon following things. What are those things? Shape of the roof, then size of the building, slope of the roof, wind angle, zone of the structural element of a building. I have enlisted over here. Shape of the roof. Is it a Pratt truss, or is it a king post truss, queen post truss? What type of a roof it is? Because every truss has its own way of arrangement. And see, some trusses will be like this, right? The load transfer in how load transfer in this truss is depends on how the members are connected in the truss. And if the member arrangement change, the load transforming path changes, as well as load carrying capacity of that truss also changes. And that's why here the external wind pressure acting upon our truss is also influenced by shape of a roof truss. It can be a Hoy truss, like, or it can be a Pratt truss, like this. It can be has different shapes and size and way of components of your truss can be different, and that's why the shape of a roof, in how that slope is arranged, it is very flat slope or it is very inclined, how it is placed, that also the shape of total this roof is got influenced, or it affects on our external wind pressure. Next is size of a building. What is size of a building now? Size of a building means what? What is the span and length of your structure? Because in the beginning in our problem we have mentioned that the span of a truss is 18 meter, whereas length of your truss is 42 meter. For this size, for this area, 18 meter by 42 meter, for this larger area I am constructing my roof. And that's why I am saying the size of building affects my external wind pressure, because here you are constructing your structure and the wind flowing in this direction, wind flowing in this area is going to be obstruct by this structure made by you. And that's why how long, on what long area you are constructing your truss is matters. Size of truss does matter over here. Next is slope of the roof. Slope of the roof, very simple. If your slope of a roof is like this and like this, let me draw it again. Here you can understand it. Slope of roof is like this, one roof is like this, one roof is somewhat like this, and third one is very flat like this. Okay, out of these three types, first, second and third, which roof will allow the smooth movement of a wind above the roof? Which one? Of course third one, because it is very flat kind of. If the surface is very flat like this, in this the obstruction to the wind is very less. But at the same time, if your roof construction is like this, more amount of wind is got obstructed. And that's why wind pressure, external wind pressure also get affected. It may rise, right? Then the slope of the roof we understood. Next is wind angle. At what wind angle? Now see, your roof angle is, this is your roof angle, and we should keep the roof angle less than 30 degree. Okay, more the flatter slope, more will be less will be the wind pressure. Okay, now next is wind angle. Wind angle means what? Now this is your roof, and in this the wind can be flow like this, like this, like this, this or this way. Okay, so this every angle which is making with the horizontal surface, that angle differs, and it influences the kind of pressure coming upon my truss or on my roof of a truss. Okay, so wind angle also makes difference. And how does wind angle make difference, how we are taking it into calculation, देखेंगे आगे जाके, वो भी देखेंगे. Next is zone of the structural element of the building. Zone of a structural element of the building. What does it mean? In which zone of my structural building located? Zones are very important. What type of a terrain it is located in, what type of a class of a structure it is, and what is the surrounding location in the area of my structure. That everything affects on the wind pressure. Is it in the cities where very crowded construction has been taking place, or it is in the open land, or it is in the industrial area, in the MIDC areas? Where does it located? On that basis, the surrounding growth of or development of that area also affects my wind pressure. Because if too crowded construction is taken place into the area nearby to my construction, then that obstruct the wind pressure, and the wind pressure coming on my structure is very less. That's why the zone of the structure has to be taken care of. Okay, next is where from I will get information of this external wind pressure. So this external wind pressure specifically mentioned all the necessary steps you have to take care or you have to take for wind pressure is given in IS 875, and this specifies for this external CPI, this CPE, external wind pressure coefficient, is given to us with which is depends upon size, slope of the roof, wind angle, then what is the shape of roof, zone of structure. By considering all this parameter, they have fixed, the IS 875 fixed the values of coefficient of external wind pressure, and this coefficient is enlisted in the table. Only thing you have to need to check that table is what type of a pitch, what type of a roof you are dealing with. Is it a pitch roof, or it is a pitch plat roof, it is a Howe truss, or it is a different, or it is a king post truss, what type of a truss it is. On the basis of that you can check the CPE value. It is given into the IS 875 part 3. Okay. Now next is internal wind pressure. How to calculate internal wind pressure and how to understand the CPI and where does the enlisted, that we're gonna see. As I told you, the difference between the pressure acting outside my structure and pressure acting within my structure is vary from each other. They have a huge difference between them, and the difference has to be taken care of, because whatever pressure acting within my truss is very lesser than the pressure acting outside my truss, and that is taken place on larger area. So this difference we are trying to understand, and that's why we are calculating the CPE and CPI value. CPE is the external wind pressure coefficient and the CPI is the internal wind pressure. Okay, now let's understand what is CPI and what influence our CPI. So internal air pressure in building, depends upon the degree of permeability of the air flow. Now if you do remember this thing, in the problem of your this truss, they have mentioned that permeability is medium. They have mentioned the permeability is of medium. Okay, and if I'm saying the permeability is medium, then this is, what does it mean? First of all, what does permeability means? Permeability, we know as a civil engineer, permeability is a passage to allow the flow of water in the any solid material or in the soil. If we take an example of material as a soil, in the soil, what is the passage allowed to the flow of a water, and that is permeability. That's how we understood it. But now if I'm not wrong, okay, so if I'm talking about the permeability of my structure, so there we don't have any passage to allow the flow of water, right? We don't have that. Then what does permeability mean? So here we are not allowing the passage to flow the water, but we are allowing passage to move, or a passage to movement of air. What does passage means? Ventilators, windows, door openings and many other openings to our trusses play the role of or allow a passage to pass the air which is coming inside my truss and getting away from my truss. To get away from my truss, there need to be, or get into as well as to get out, then there need to be a passage, there need to be openings, and these openings can be a window, door openings, shutters and also ventilators. So through this, how much air comes into and how much can pass out of. Let's suppose there is an opening here, and through this opening this 100% air is coming. So out of this 100%, how much air is passing away? 80%, 20%, 30%. How much air is passing away from my structure? That is what we call permeability here. Okay, so that's why they said internal air pressure in a building depends upon the degree of permeability. Is depend upon the degree of permeability of a air flow. Now for both internal pressure of a positive as well as negative values, the structural element should be what? Safe. Should be safe. For both internal pressure of positive as well as negative value. And now you must be thinking, what is this now? Internal pressure of positive as well as negative values, the structural element should be safe. But don't worry about this positive and negative values, because you're gonna understand it while doing calculations. But you should remember right now, for this moment, you should remember that there can be a positive value, there can be a negative values, but for those both of the values, your structure should be stands safe. Okay, so let's go for the calculation now. The calculations here, we are starting for external wind pressure and internal wind pressure coefficient. C is a coefficient. Now for CPE, we need to open IS 875 part 3, go to the table number 5, and from there we will try to understand CPE, how to calculate CPE. See here, if I go below, yes, this is the table number 5. Is it visible to you? CP table number 5, and this table number 5 is helpful to calculate what? External pressure coefficient. External pressure coefficient CPE for pitch roof of a rectangular clad external pressure coefficient CPE for pitch roof of a rectangular clad buildings. Okay, you understood, we are using table number 5. It is for CPE calculation. And how to use this table now? The question is, forget about that title, just remember or try to understand that how to calculate this CPE value, because directly there is nothing mentioned over here. You have to go for it. So see here, okay, let me zoom into, yes, and here you can see one ratio is given. This ratio is important. We will try to understand that ratio first, because to use this table we need to understand this ratio H by W. Okay, because from there we are choosing our values. It depends on the what ratio our roof satisfying, and accordingly we will select our values. H by W is less than 1 by 2, or we can say half. Now what is H? H is a height of my truss, and W is a least lateral dimension. Okay, and if it is lesser than half, then you have to follow this first rule. Okay, but which value? There also many values are enlisted in this column, but before that you have to take a roof angle. Roof angle means what? Now see, for roof angle in the earlier stage you must have remember, you have to be, because I'm solving this problem from last I think last 5 videos I'm solving the same problem, and you are watching it meanwhile. Okay, we have a time differences between these videos, we have a gaps between them, but you should remember what we are solving. If you are directly coming to this video, go back to my previous videos, watch those, and you will get a better idea about what I am talking. If to remember you, the roof slope, this angle theta was 18 degree. We calculated it and we found that it is of 18 degree. If it is of 18 degree value, then this 18 must be fall between this 10 to 20 category. It will fall between this 10 to 20 category, right? And in this 10 to 20 category, you will get these two values on value for EF, GH, EG and FH. EF, GH, EG and FH. Okay, these 4 values we have. Now out of which one I have to select? We will get back to it. First of all, we will check this ratio now. Next ratio is what? My H by W is greater than 1/2 and it is lesser than 3 by 2. What I said? It is greater than H by W. My H by W is greater than half or 0.5. It is greater than that but lesser than 1.5, because 3 by 2, they are using here 3 by 2. Is my ratio is false between this category? And if it is yes, then you should follow second row of this table, and accordingly you have further one more this ratio, and you have to check that ratio if it is falling out of which category, and accordingly you have to select the rows you go for. Fine. Now let's go for our here. Now see, this is very important and you have to be very focused in this. What I said, we have to check the ratio to use table number 5. Okay. How to check that ratio? For that you have to check H by W. H is 12 meter here, and W, now W I said less lateral dimension. It means here the span of your truss. See here, your truss is rectangular kind of a truss or industrial shed, and it has a dimension, lateral dimension as 18 and 42 meter in this direction along the length. Which one is the lesser? 18. 18 is the span of your truss. Then that 18 is coming here as a W. And H is what? What is the height of your roof? Height of your roof, that to be up to eave level. What is eave level? Up to this. Wait a minute. This is your roof and this is your truss, and below the roof, this is what we called eave height. What is the height of our structure? 12 meter. And that's why I taken H equals to 12 meter. From here, I understood my ratio falls between this category, second category, where my value falls greater than 0.5, means 1/2. It is greater than 1/2, but lesser than what? 1.5, lesser than 1.5. Therefore, see here the value is 0.67 and it is between what? 0.5 to 1.5. It can't be less than 0.5. Yes, and that's why I choose row 2 of table number 5. Now question is, in that table you have 4 different columns. The column number 1 is telling E, F, then E, G, something like this they have mentioned. What is that? And which column to be selected? For that, see here. Here, W is the least span, as I said, least span. H is the height up to eave level. Then this diagram is important. Come to this diagram now. Look at here. This is my truss up to the eave height. I am taking this truss up to the eave height, and roof is neglected. It is taken away. Now in this height of my rectangular kind of a shed of a height 12 meter, wind can act from any direction. I said you, the wind can act from any direction. So I have taken one direction which is exactly perpendicular to the wall of your shed, and then I have taken one at 90 degrees. One at 90 degrees. See here again. Here I said this is your truss, and this truss I have taken two directions on it. In this my wind force will act within these two directions only. Which are those two directions? One is horizontal, one is perpendicular. Okay, and all the forces can act in this direction only, can become like this or this or this. Any ways, any directions are if you are considering will fall between these two forces, one is horizontal, one another is perpendicular, and that's why I made this box. Okay, in this box I have mentioned the name as EGFH. What names I have wrote there? EGFH. Okay, now EGFH give us four ways of writing it, or four direction to understand. See, what are the four direction? You must be clearly understand over here. This is the only way I can make you understand it. Once you got confused at this point, you cannot solve further steps, you cannot go for further steps. So please be attentive over here, be extra focused here. I said this force can be in the parallel direction or in the perpendicular direction, right? And every other direction of a force is covered between these two directions. Okay, and that's why we have taken one extreme way of acting the force and one parallel force, right? Now I said this box or this truss, I am differentiating it into four parts. Okay, I divided it into four parts. I named it as EGFH. Now you must understand next concept. What is next concept? Windward force and leeward force. What I said, one is acting windward force, another is leeward force. Windward force is the force or the direction or the face of your truss. We can say face of your truss where wind force hit. Wind force comes and hit your truss. Okay, like this is your truss and wind force comes and hit over here. Then the wind force disperses and they move away from other side. That gets moved away from other side. What I said, this is your truss, the wind forces comes into this direction, they hit our structure and they get dispersed away and they move away from the other side. So from which side wind hits our structure, that's what we call windward side. And from other way, when they disperse, they move like this from the other way. That other way, other side, other face of your structure is called it as a leeward face. So I hope you understood what is windward force and leeward face. Windward face and leeward face. Now I am giving a angle to this. Only the direction is not sufficient. In what angle my the wind force is hitting my structure is also important. Okay, is it acting at 0 angle, or it is acting at 30 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree, or it is exactly perpendicular on the top of it. Okay, like this. Okay, so angle also important. Angle I am taking here is a parallel to this force is theta equals to 0 degree. Okay, then force can be like this, and exactly now it is coming like this. Here I have taken the angle theta is equals to 90 degree. Okay, now see this EGFH can be write in the 4 ways. How? EF is the first combination. Okay, EF is the first combination. Second combination is GH. Okay, then third combination is this, and fourth is this one. Understood? So we have how many ways we can write this? In the 4 ways. How we are doing that? First, vertically 1, 2. 1 is EF, 2 is GH, 2 is GH, and second way to write is this EG and FH. How we are doing it? With the help of angle, you will understand now. See here, case number 1. In the case number 1, I am saying theta is at 0 degree. Okay, so theta is at 0 degree, fine. Then in the theta is a 0 degree, I am taking windward side. I am taking theta is 0 degree and I am taking windward side. Alright. And from the windward side, which side I am taking? EF or GH? Which one I am considering? Because you can take 2 faces, EF or GH. Which one I am taking? So I said I am taking EF. I am calculating for EF. That's why the second one is taken away, or that is skipped. That we will do in the next step. So this is what arrangement. Theta is 0, windward side and EF. Okay. For this phase, you have to go into the table number 5 now. Yes. In this table, my ratio falls in this category, right? And in this category, my angle falls between 10 to 20. 10 to 20. And I am looking for EF. So see here, EF is mentioned over here, where wind angle is 0 degree and I am writing it for EF. I am writing it for EF. My ratio follows this category and my value of theta falls between 10 to 20. Falls between 10 to 20. If my values falls between 10 to 20 and the values are giving me EF values equals to how much? 1.1 for 10 and for 20 it is minus 0.7. And I have to calculate for the theta how much? 18, because theta is in this row. Okay, theta is of 18 degree. See here, for 10 degree it is minus 1.5, for 20 it is minus 0.7, and that's why for 18.43 angle, what will be the value? If you interpolate, the value will be negative 0.76. The value will be negative 0.76. Then next value now. Now I am talking about this value for leeward side. Leeward side means what? This side. Okay. Leeward side, theta is 0 degree. Theta is 0 degree. And I am talking about GH means second column. See here. I am talking about leeward side now, because windward side is already done. Theta is 0. So here also in the parallel direction theta will be 0. But now I am talking about this phase GH, and that's why in the table number 5 you have to go for GH. Windward angle is 0. For GH 10 to 20 you will get these values here. Okay, sorry, see here, for 10 to 20 you will get this two values. Okay, and once you get that 2's value, you interpolate and find the next value, find the next value in the calculations. Okay, this will be your GH for theta equals to 0. Similarly, now for next value will be what? Now angle will change. Angle will be what? Theta equals to 90, and for theta equals to 90 we will take windward side first. Windward side will be EF, and then leeward side will be gives us GH. Okay, similarly theta is equals to 90 degree, windward side EG and EH. EG and EH. What is EG and EH? Yes, here you can take as a windward side. There is a name difference, there is a mistake in these names. You have to take this, there must be a difference in a name, but you have to check this figure. It will be EF and GH. Okay, EF and GH. So here EF, here it will be EF, and this is GH. This will be GH. Now this is small mistake which I made. You have to correct it in your figure. Now let's go to the table number 5 to understand these two values and how to select them. Okay, see here, now you have EG and FH. See, EG and FH. EG and FH. Now if you are thinking where from I have taken that diagram, so you have that diagram in your IS code. It is given into your IS code. You have to just check and select the values from it. The diagram one which I given above. Okay, so for EH and EG you have to go for this column. Okay, and in this category you will select your EG and EH value. From there you have to interpolate your values. Once you calculate all the values from table, put that back to your and calculate this. Calculate this interpolations. Okay, for EG side and next side correction is there for FH side. Okay, once you do that, what remaining we will see into next videos. Many part is remaining about wind calculation. There is much to calculate ahead that we will see in the next video, and I will repeat this again for you. Okay, thank you so much.